Here on Scotty Knows, we'll be talking about everything from the questions that you send in to me to pop culture, and before you frickin' say it, I'm aware I'm very old school, but I do keep up with the latest trends and shit going on nowadays. I kind of have to at this point. Forget about it. 3, we'll also be talking about your feelings and how sometimes the things that I say may offend you and how that makes you feel. Because I'm here to help you in any way possible. Here are my rates. 1, $300 per minute. 2, $450 per bitchiness. 3, $550 per complaining. These rates are at my discretion on which I charge them. Scott Davis is not a clinical psychologist. He's just here to help you in any way possible to benefit your life and make it better. So the latest trend on TikTok is couples going up to each other and saying, "Honey, would you cheat on me for $1 billion?" Gentlemen, you're screwed. Either way, in this question, you are really screwed, which is why I love the single lifestyle I live. So luckily, you have Scott Davis here. I'm going to give you the correct answer. So if you're asked this question, women or men, if you're asked that question, simply say, "Honey, I'd come tell you what I was offered today. I turned it down." Which in all reality, the next thing your spouse would say to you is, "If you don't do it, I will." I mean, it's $1 billion. Personally, morally, if I was married to somebody or in a very committed relationship, I'd say no. I'd have to say no. Because if I was to do that, or if my spouse or girlfriend was to come up to me and do that and tell me that, I'd say, yeah, that money's life-changing, but that emotional connection after that is demolished. That's speaking personally in my beliefs. Money can't buy you happiness, truthfully, if I'm speaking. And I just couldn't live with that fact, you know. It just wouldn't sit well with me. But go about it in that kind of same way, you know. Just kind of say, look, it's $1 billion. What do you think, honey? 9 times out of 10, unless you're me, you're going to say, go ahead, go get that money. So one of the questions that I was asked the other day was, what is the process in terms of creating your own podcast? And how do you go about coming up with the topics? In all honesty, y'all, we come up with topics to talk about, but we're so ADHD that we literally sometimes zone way the hell out of what the actual conversation is. And that's fine because it makes for great content. And it just brings about different conversations that just lead all the way down the rabbit hole, which is fun. It really is a fun thing. But my advice to anybody that would be creating their own podcast and starting off their own way is you're going to have to go through a trial and error process. You know, I started off completely political, not realizing that, you know, it caters to a certain group, which my people, I still love you. And we're going to keep, this is still a right-leaning show. It 100% is a right-leaning show. So, but what I like to do is, you know, I kind of like to diversify it a little bit, talk about different things happening in our lives because we are young. We're 26. Well, I'm 26. Our generation is young. My goal really is to expand your mind into thinking differently than what the mainstream media teaches you how to think. And people go about it in different ways. You know, I'm not going to sit here and fucking lecture you on how to vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm just hoping that you do vote, unless you're voting for Bernie or AOC or any of those fucking idiots. Because let me tell you something. I read Bernie's book. Yeah, I know. But I had free credits on Audible. I mean, but I like to know what people who think differently than me, I like to know what they're thinking, which is why I watch The View. I'll say it right now. I'm perfectly comfortable with my sexuality and my masculinity to say I watch The View. I watch the political side of it, though, because I always want to know what somebody who's thinking differently than me is going to counter me with in an argument. Whenever you think ahead like that, that's how you win debates. That's how you get ahead with people on policies. Because they're talking about this big infrastructure bill right now. We don't have the money to spend on that in the U.S. Our national debt, you see the ticking clock that we always have. We can't afford to spend it on all this unnecessary bullshit. All right. And I advise you, look, I'm not going to tell you to read the bill. It's 1,000 pages long. Yeah. Now you wonder, that's the answer right there to why we don't get shit done in D.C. Because they draft bills that are thousands and thousands and thousands upon pages long. And the Democrats want to get rid of the filibuster. Here's the thing about getting rid of the filibuster. You do realize you just lost Virginia. And then you almost lost New Jersey in the governmental race. Shit. Fuck it. I'm not even going to worry about it. They just lost the governor's race in Virginia. Then they almost lost in Jersey, which is a referendum on the Biden administration right now. So this is what the midterms are probably going to look like. It's going to be an all Republican House and Senate. And bada boom, bada bang. But we're not going to get shit done. All right? I mean, this is not going to get done under this administration. Biden's falling asleep, shitting his cassons, all that crap. No pun intended. And they're just not getting anything done. This is what happens whenever politics and playing the game of politics interferes with tribalism. And I'm as conservative and Republican as it gets. But tribalism amongst our elected leaders, that leads to failure every single time. So we have to find a way to get past that. And I think Virginia and New Jersey, even though we lost New Jersey, the way that it was so close and tight, that's what she said. Even though it was that tight of a race, it shows what's going to happen to the midterms come our time. So we're going to have to seize that and take full-on advantage of it. You see, we kind of swayed away from the entire question just now. But all right, my advice to y'all, if you're thinking about starting your own podcast or being a content creator, as my boy Cotton says, be different, be you. Be yourself. Find your shtick. Find your thing. And then once you do, you go balls to the fucking wall with it and tackle everything in your way. And if you do that and you have a happy soul, a happy mind, you'll be successful. And I'm rooting for you. Thanks for tuning in to the first ever segment of Scotty Knows. God bless. Take care. We'll see you next week.